I've been making book videos for 10 years now, which means I've grown a rather large physical TBR. Recently, I went through a bookshelf purge and only kept the books that I'm the most excited to read. I am convinced that my next favorite book is waiting for me somewhere on my shelves. I've set myself a challenge to read my entire physical TBR in 1 year. We are starting with 250 books, and by the end, I hope to be down to 0. Hey friends, welcome back to my channel and welcome to episode 3 of TBR Tackle, my series where I am attempting to read every single book on my physical TBR in 1 year. This is going to be a special 24-hour edition of TBR Tackle. I am doing a 24-hour readathon with my patrons, and I'm going to attempt to read as many books from the shelf in the next 24 hours. So I obviously will be reading some shorter books, some books I think I can get through quickly, because the great thing about TBR Tackle is that page length does not matter. A book is a book and it counts the same, whether it is 50 pages or 500. So before I show you the books that I have picked, we need to update my stats from some books that I've read since my last episode, and we only have one. So it's a very quick update, but I read A Funny Story by Emily Henry in my video where my bestie Sarah picked out books for me to read. So we will go add this over to the shelf of books that I've read. So here are the updated numbers, and I already went ahead and pulled off all of the shortest books from my shelf, and I have 5 here that I could potentially read in the next 24 hours. Technically, this one is not one of the shortest books, but I do just really want to read this. This is This Delicious Death by Kayla Cottingham. Then I have Alice Payne Arrives by Kate Hartfield. This is a sapphic time travel book. Also sounds very fun. In the House in the Dark of the Woods by Laird Hunt, which is like a folk horror book. The Root of Ice and Salt, which is a reimagining of Dracula. And then To Be Taught If Fortunate by Becky Chambers. I don't know 100% that these are the books that I'm gonna read, but I will attempt it. We will see. I think the one I'm going to start with is Alice Payne Arrives. So I will be starting my 24 hours in the morning at 9 a.m. and going until the next 9 a.m. I'm gonna get a good night's rest tonight and see you guys tomorrow for when my 24 hours officially starts. Good morning! It's time for me to start my 24-hour readathon, and I'm making some coffee right now. I need some energy for the day to keep me going. If I really am going to stay up all night and read, I'm gonna need caffeine and energy. I'm also going to take one of these little Magic Mind shots, which boost your mental performance. I love these. I've been using them for a couple weeks now, and this video is actually being sponsored by Magic Mind. So Magic Mind is a performance elixir that delivers 100% of your mental performance without the negative side effects of over-caffeination and jitters and like energy crashing or anxiety. So it is a mental performance shot that enhances your focus, mental clarity, motivation, productivity, reduces stress, and each bottle also provides 100% of your daily vitamin C and D. They are 100% safe with all of their ingredients third-party tested and sourced from top suppliers, and unlike other quick fixes, their long-term approach supports productivity and stress-free living. It is doctor validated and backed by over 200 studies and has high-quality ingredients like California mushrooms, cognizin ceticoline, organic ceremonial grade matcha from Japan, and has nano encapsulation technology, so the ingredients are absorbed faster than traditional powders. Magic Mind also donates 5 cents for each bottle sold to mental health charities these, and they are 100% carbon neutral. They offer a no-risk 100% refund policy after 100 days of your purchase, and they ship internationally. It also complements your coffee, so this isn't like a coffee caffeine replacement. You're supposed to just add this to whatever your routine already is. So if you are like me and you are a coffee drinker, you will drink this alongside your coffee. If you like a tea in the morning, you drink it alongside your tea. If you don't do either, it is just an additional thing to add. So it's not meant to replace your routine, it just is a little booster. And because it has low caffeine content, you can take it throughout the day. If you don't want to do it in the morning, you can do it in the afternoon and it won't disrupt your sleep. So I've been using this for the past couple of months and I am really, really loving it. I'm a very big like health shot person. I love trying out different types of health shots, and of all the ones that I've tried, I actually feel like I noticed the biggest difference with this one, where I just feel like I'm more focused and attentive throughout the day. So you can click the link in my description and use my discount code Riley20 to get 48% off your subscription for the next 10 days or 20% off a one-time purchase. And thank you to Magic Mind for sponsoring this video and being the boost of energy that I need to accomplish this 24-hour readathon. This morning, the book that I started was Alice Payne Arrives by Kate Hartfield. I read about like 30 pages of it, and it's very, very interesting so far. This is a sapphic time travel book. It starts off, we're following these two women in 1788, and one of them is disguising herself as a highwayman so she can rob men on the road and steal all their money. And then we're following another woman in 1889, but we find out that she is a time traveler from like the 2300s who has been in 1889 now for 10 years, and she keeps trying to stop the same event from happening. She keeps trying to stop Crown Prince Rudolph from committing suicide because they believe that him not dying will stop World War I, and then that will stop future wars like way in the future. Keeps trying to stop this from happening, but it keeps happening. So she's been living the same day for 10 years. Yeah, it's very interesting so far. I feel like this is gonna be a fun one. I am about to do some sprints with my patrons. So I'm gonna get ready a little bit. Not fully ready, because you know, 24-hour readathon, we're meant to be pajamas, looking a little crusty. I think I need to do something about my hair. My hair has a mind of her own today, but I have this headband that matches my pajamas. So let's do that. She's cute, she's put together. She did not just roll out of bed. This is, I just rolled out of bed, don't have a care in the world, I've given up. And then this is, oh my god, she is so cute. Someone call Milan and put her in the fashion magazines. One thing about me is I will go without makeup. I very rarely actually wear makeup. You will not catch me dead without my eyebrows. I committed the great crime of the early 2000s over plucking, and I've been paying for my sins ever since. See, like, that just so much better. So much better. Just the tiniest little amount. I really wish that I never ever did that, because I think I would have had very nice natural brows had I not. But, you know, young Riley, she really wanted her eyebrows to start back here. Much better, much better. So I'm gonna go onto my sprints with my patrons. We're gonna play some games also in the middle of the sprints, so that should be fun. I finished my book. I finished, and it was so good. And it ended on a cliffhanger, and now I'm like, do I read the next one? No, I can't. I don't own it. I need to get it. Oh my god, it was so good. It was so good. I really, really enjoyed this. And you know, I've had this on my shelf for so long, and I've always wanted to read it. And this really hit. It really reminded me of one of my favorite books, This Is How You Lose the Time War. But I would say that this one is a lot more accessible. I have a hard time recommending this book because the writing is very particular, very lyrical, and kind of abstract. This one is kind of a similar vibe, but more straightforward, like less on the poetic, beautiful side and more like fun, action, adventure. This is following three women. Two of them are girlfriends in the 1700s who disguise themselves as highwaymen to rob men, specifically bad men. They rob bad men. And then one of them is also like an inventor and creates all of these like mechanical inventions and things like that. Then we're also following a woman from way, way, way in the future, the 2300s, who is a time traveler and is part of this organization of people who are using time machines to go back in time and stop this huge world war from happening in the future. And she ends up going back in time and crosses paths with these two girls, and they work together on this plot to like save the world. It was so fun. It was so fun. I really enjoyed it. The one like critique that I think I have is that it does feel like the first half of a book, and I know there's a second novella. It's just the two novellas, so I kind of feel like maybe they could have been one whole book. I'm very excited to read the next one because the way that this ended was really cool, and I'm so curious to see where it goes. And I loved the ways that it like played with time travel. I thought it was very fun. I loved the little romance between the two girls. There was a quote that I saved that had me like screaming, kicking my feet. I was like, that is so cute. She says, "I know if I were given the chance to live my life over 1,000,000 times, I would love you in every one." That was just so cute. I was obsessed. I was obsessed. So I think I'm gonna give this 4 stars, but this is a great way to start this 24-hour readathon. I am trying to decide now what I'll start next. I kind of want to continue the fun vibes because that book was very fun. And I feel like, okay, I feel like these 3 aren't what I would think of as being fun. So I'm thinking, okay, we just did Sapphic time travelers. Let's do Sapphic zombies, which just sounds almost as fun as Sapphic time travelers. Okay, kiss and make out. Kiss and make out has to be French. Like different styles of kissing. Tape. Tape is not, no. Dressing. Cottage. Scissors. Scissors? It's definitely not scissors. Oh, neck. Like necking? That would make more sense than scissors. Okay. Canoodle. I'm sorry. That's just what I was thinking. We're guessing what the song is. Oh, I know what it is. I know what it is. It is Mbop by Hanson. I mean, Mbop is a bop. It's the original bop. We're sharing memes to go with the books that we're reading. So the one that I shared for This Delicious Death is lesbians eat what? You know, because they're zombies. I just got off of my reading sprints. It was so fun. We played a bunch of games, a lot that I'd never played before, and they were very fun. And I finished another book. I finished This Delicious Death, and this was really, really fun. Honestly, this is a quicker read than it looks. I thought this would take me longer. So this is about 4 best friends who all were turned into zombies. There was like a zombie outbreak in the world, and a lot of people turned into zombies, but in this world they're called hollows, and the government has created synthetic meat for them to eat, so they can still like exist in society. But obviously there's like a prejudice against zombies, and people are like scared of them and don't treat them as well. And these 4 best friends who are zombies, they are going to a music festival and trying to have like a fun time, but it turns out that there's a plot against the zombies at the festival, and someone is drugging them with this drug that makes them go feral. I was hoping that this would give me iZombie vibes, which is a show that I love and think is so fun. And whenever I first heard this plot, I thought of that show, and I was hoping it would remind me of it, and it really, really did. Like the way that that show deals with zombies, I feel like is kind of similar to this. And there is a little sapphic romance because 2 of the girls who've been best friends their whole lives started like developing feelings for each other. One of them also is a trans girl, and I loved her character because she is like a social media influencer. So I'm gonna give this 4 stars. This is the second book that I've read by Kayla Cunningham. The other one was, where is it? Right here. My Dearest Darkest, which I really, really loved this. So I've now read 2 of her books, love them. They're just very, very fun if you're looking for fun queer YA books that have horror elements to them. At the end of my sprints, I did decide to kind of completely ditch this TBR. I don't know, I just feel like I'm not in the mood for any of these books. They're a little too serious for the vibes that I'm wanting today. So I pulled a few different books off of my TBR shelf. Got these 3 down instead. So we have A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic. This is a cozy fantasy. Games with the Orc, which is a monster romance. And then Elder Race, which is a fantasy novella. These just seem more like what I'm in the mood for today. I think though the one I'm going to start right now is Fellowship of Bakers and Magic, because I could really go for a nice little cozy fantasy moment. However, before I start this, I do need to take a little nap. I'm getting a little sleepy, so I'm gonna go take a very quick little rest so that I can refresh for the rest of the day. I feel a lot better now. I feel very well rested. I definitely needed that nap. That was good. Let's check on Loki. Hey, you have a nice nap? Now that that nap is over, I'm going to start A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic. So like I said, this is a cozy fantasy Great British Bake Off. It's about this girl who is a human and she's entered into this baking competition, except only magical beings are allowed to bake in the competition, like elves and orcs and dwarves and wizards. But she has a dream of being a baker. It sounds like it's gonna be a combination of The Hobbit and Great British Bake Off, which is just everything that I've ever wanted in this world. Is he going back to sleep? He's like, nap time's not over, bitch. I did want to open, I got an Illumicrate package, which I've actually been skipping my past like many boxes. I think I might have skipped all of them this year so far. I've not been super impressed with their selections lately, but I did get this one because it is a cozy fantasy. So perfect time for me to unbox it. Oh my god, it's so pretty. It is so pretty. Okay, it is The Phoenix Keeper by S.A. McLean. Look at how beautiful this is. Stunning. So this is a sapphic cozy fantasy. I believe it's about magical creature zookeepers. So it's like a zoo for magical creatures. Oh, there's a map. Was not expecting a map. I cannot wait to read this. All right, I'm gonna go start this book. Okay, this is very cute so far, and I think I am picking up on a little romance between her and I'm guessing it's this guy who's an elf, and his mom is like head of the competition, and she just keeps talking about how attractive he is, and I'm like, okay girl, I see it, I see it. It's also interesting because he was just talking about how elves have like fated mates. I'm picking up what he's putting down. I'm picking it up. I'm like, fated mates, huh? But it's interesting because I feel like in a lot of other books where there's like fated mates, they call them their mate. They'll be like, oh, that's my mate, or I'm looking for my mate. But in this one, they call them their fated. And I like that so much more. That just sounds so much more romantic to be like, ooh, when I find my fated, instead of being like, when I find my mate. That just sounds so aggressive and so like, me man, you woman, you my mate. Whereas like, fated sounds so beautiful. I really like that. How do we get the word out to all the fated mate romance authors to change it to be fated instead of mates? Let's lean into the fated part of fated mates, because mates just gives me the ick. It gives me the ick where I'm like, no. But fated sounds so cute. It's like, oh, we're fated. I finished A Fellowship of Bakers and Magic. I think I'm gonna give this one 3.5 stars. I feel like in order to like this, you really have to love cozy fantasy. Like low stakes, low angst, no angst actually. Very long detailed descriptions of food and baking, which all of that I love. I loved the plot. It literally just was magical Great British Bake Off. I think the only thing that kept me from like fully loving it is the main character frustrated me a little bit. She was stressing me out. Like, she had so much anxiety and was like constantly having like little mentee bees, little breakdowns, which is fine, but I feel like in a cozy fantasy, that's just not what I personally want. I don't want a main character that's stressing me out. And like the romance was fine. I think there were some parts that I was like, oh, it's so cute. And then there were other parts where I felt like it was a little underdeveloped. I will say, if you love cozy fantasy as much as I do, I would try it out. I do want to read the next book in this series, which is like about a librarian and a dragon, I think. Oh my God. My hair is like really pissing me off today. We're throwing the headband back on. Without the headband, my hair is just looking horrible. My hair was already a mess, and then the nap made it worse. It compounded the bedhead. Okay, before I start my next book, I am gonna take another little break and eat dinner, and I think I'm gonna watch an episode of True Blood, which I've been super in the mood for like a vampire paranormal show. However, there are only so many times that I can watch The Vampire Diaries, but I've never watched True Blood. I think maybe like back when it was on, I watched a couple minutes of an episode and I did not like the accents. And I was like, no. But I don't know, I want to give it a try. So I'm going to watch the first episode while I have dinner, and then I will get into my next book. Honesty hour, did I just watch 4 hours of True Blood? Yeah, I did. It's now midnight. I don't know, I just kept going. Every episode ended on a cliffhanger, and I was like, I need to know what's happening. Did you enjoy True Blood? I'm gonna start my next book. I think I'm gonna start Elder Race because I don't actually know how long I'm gonna be able to stay up. I'm gonna try to stay up as long as possible. We are now way past my bedtime. I normally go to bed between 9 and 10 o'clock, so we're way past my bedtime, and I'm gonna try to stay up as long as possible, but I probably won't make it the full 24 hours. I'm gonna try my hardest. Okay? That reminds me though, I was actually thinking about this while I was watching True Blood, because I was like, so much of like vampire movies and TV shows, the plot takes place in the middle of the night because vampires can't go out in the sun. And I was like, oh my God, if I was in a vampire show, I would never be around because I'd be in bed. I'd be asleep. I always thought about that too when I would watch Buffy, and I feel like so much of the plot of Buffy happened in the middle of the night, and then they would get up in the morning and go to school, and I'm like, when are y'all sleeping? When are you getting your 8 hours? Like, sorry to the vampires, I have a bedtime. I'm not messing about in the middle of the night. Anyways, Elder Race. What is this about? I don't know. Let's find out together. It seems like this is a blend of fantasy and sci-fi about a girl who is the lowly 4th daughter of the queen, and there's a demon terrorizing the land, and she seeks to invoke a pact between her family and the elder sorcerer who inhabits the local tower. But Elder Near isn't a sorcerer, and he is forbidden to help. Okay, I'm hoping that this is interesting and that I don't fall asleep while I'm reading it. Fingers crossed. I am now halfway into Elder Race, and I just read a chapter that is really cool. This is the coolest blend of sci-fi and fantasy I think that I've ever read. We're following this girl named Lenice, and she is like the lowly princess, and there's demons attacking the world, but the queen won't do anything about it. So she has gone to the sorcerer that lives in this tower, who's always supposedly been like protecting the realm. And it's told in dual POV between her and the sorcerer. But the very first chapter of the sorcerer, he says, "My name is Nir Ilium Tvek, anthropologist, 2nd class of Earth's Explorer Corps. I am centuries old and light years from home." Turns out he's no sorcerer, he's a scientist from Earth who was placed on this planet that Earth colonized long ago to observe and report his findings. And he's been there for hundreds of years, going in and out of cryo sleep. And he's just there to observe and never actually interact. But now the princess is at his tower requesting the help of the wizard and his magic. It's so cool because he keeps trying to like explain to her, I'm not actually a wizard, I don't know magic, I'm a scientist. But because of their language barrier, what she hears is, I'm a wizard and I know magic and I will help you fight the demons. Their comprehension of technology is that it is magic. It's so cool. And that, I think, is highlighted so perfectly in this chapter that I just read, where he is telling her the origin of their planet. And so you get it in his perspective, like his storytelling of it, where it's very much like, we came from Earth, colonized the planet, built an ecosystem, and then you hear the exact same story, but how she is hearing it, and it's a fantasy version. Like, it's so cool because it's telling the exact same story, one side from a sci-fi lens and then the other from a fantasy lens. It's so cool. So basically the whole book, depending on whose perspective you're in, if you're in hers or his, you're reading a fantasy book if you're in her perspective. And if you're in his perspective, you're reading a sci-fi book. It is so cool. It is so cool. I have just never found a book that I think blended sci-fi and fantasy to this degree so well. And I'm over halfway, so I'm definitely going to finish this. I think that is my goal, is gonna be to finish this, and then I'm gonna go to bed. I know I seem very energized right now. I'm like really trying. I'm really trying to like energize myself to keep going. I feel like I'm towards the end of a marathon and I'm so close. I'm almost done. I have a little bit left and then I can go to bed. I'm just dreaming about my bed. I'm thinking about it. It's right upstairs. I will be there soon. I did very promptly fall asleep after I finished that clip. Listen, okay, I am an old lady. I have a bedtime. Oh, someone's emerging. Hey, how you doing? I did finish Elder Race before 10 o'clock, so it was still within the 24 hours. And I really enjoyed this. I think I'm gonna be giving it 4 stars. Nothing from my review has really changed. I think this is one of the best blends of fantasy and sci-fi I have ever read. It really makes me want to read more from this author. So you guys will have to let me know what I should try next. I do have Children of Time on my physical TBR, but that one is a very long book. You guys can let me know if that is like the good next step or if there's something else maybe in like the novella length that I should try next. But I really loved this. Honestly, more than I thought I would, because I think when I bought this, I found it at a used bookstore and I sort of just bought it on a whim, not really knowing much about it. And I don't think I've ever even heard anyone talk about it. I'm sure people have. I just wasn't paying attention. Honestly, now that I'm talking about it, I feel like it's more 4.5. It's not a full 5-star because I don't think it's like a favorite, but it was great. It was like really amazing. So that is the end of this little 24-hour readathon, and I read 4 books, all of which I enjoyed. I think my ranking of them, oh my god, that's hard because honestly, I feel like I liked these 3 equal amounts, but they're all so different, I can't even really compare them. And then this one was still enjoyable, it just wasn't my favorite cozy fantasy, but that is 4 more books read from my physical TBR, so let's go add them to my shelf. And that brings my physical TBR down to this number, which I don't know what it is, but you guys will know. And honestly, I have to admit, I think I'm making progress so much faster than I thought that I would. So I'm very proud of myself. And I know a lot of you are doing this challenge along with me of reading the books on your physical TBR. And if you're not doing this with me, take this as your formal invitation to do it. Thank you guys for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, leave me a zombie emoji. Is there a zombie emoji? I think there is. Leave me a zombie in the comments. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, please like and subscribe and check out my Patreon where I post tons of exclusive content. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!